Mark, we often talk about the load of a 3-game week on the players, but how do you and your staff navigate these scenarios?
We've got to obviously get through the games. We've got to look at how the players are, how they're looking, the demeanour, the way that they can train after the games, but also what are the loads previously in previous games, and obviously we've got a squad to make some changes if need be. So we'll speak to the sports science department. We'll look at that. Like I said, we'll look at the numbers, but we'll look at the players, talk to the players, see how they are and see how they're responding, see how they are, physically and mentally. So the game loads are high, but this is a really good week. The fact that you played Tuesday night, but then they bring the kick-off forward, even though it's 2.5 hours, it still makes a bit of a difference. So. Different time of day, but you've got to cope with it. That's the nature of it. I think when you start to get past that on Boxing Day, from Boxing Day you got 26, 29, 1st, 4th. That block of games, the 4 games, is tricky and different. So it's going to be interesting times, but we've got to be able to cope with it.
Have you made a strong start to the season? How do you strike that balance between encouraging the players to enjoy it but also seizing the opportunity for which they've created for themselves?
By just doing what we've been doing. We don't change anything, and again, you've got to just keep trying to improve and just instill the things that they've done well. They understand that. The players are really good, so they understand what's expected and required and how to go about things, and it's difficult because you've got a team that's you're coming up against that are trying to counter that, but also trying to pose you problems, which is why I think everybody loves the Championship because of that. I think things are getting more interesting. I was going to say better, but I think this season is very much balanced. Coventry are obviously doing really well. They're winning games, they're scoring goals, they're having a really good spell. But like I say, there is a long way to go. There's still 29 games left, and we've played 17 of them. There's still a long way to go, and it's over the next the next period where we've got to try and keep picking those points up and keep ticking over. I think that's all you can do. You can't look too far ahead. You can only really look to the next game. That's tomorrow, 12:30 at home, and we're looking forward to it against a really good Hull side. Actually, they've had big improvements, obviously managerial change. They've had 3 managers since last season, I think, and they've brought in numerous players in the summer. They've got some really talented players there. They've been scoring goals and creating opportunities to score, and like I say, represents another real challenge for us. So we can go into these games, and obviously on the back of the win on Tuesday evening, then you go into it with confidence. You're at home, let's go and try and impose our game on a good Hull City team, to be fair.
Given a healthy squad to choose from and players performing when given opportunities, how difficult is it for you to select a team at the moment?
Well, you want the players to always give you a good headache, and they are doing that pretty nicely. So yeah, well done to them. I think that's what you need, but it just shows that there are, the players are in a good place. There's no doubt about that. You've got to try and maintain that, but also be consistent with what I'm doing too. So I think that they understand it, even though they all want to play every game. It's not possible, but I think that, like I say, they're in a good place. They've got to keep working and keep hold of the jersey, because all those players behind it are eager to push and either support or be in a position to get into that team and stay in the team when the opportunity arises. And like I've said to you before, that there's so many games coming up that those opportunities inevitably arise through various reasons. So hopefully we can keep pushing that way with them. But clearly we're in a really good position after 17 games, and if we want to do that, we've got to maintain that run of form, really.
Sam Gallagher got his first minutes of the season on Tuesday. How pleased are you to get him back, and how will you manage him over what's set to be a busy period?
We've got to try and look at, again, his loads and what he's doing, and how we can build that up over time. But I'm pleased that he's back, because he's he's a big player for us, not just in stature. He's a big player for us in terms of his qualities, his ability, and his experience. So that's going to be needed. I'm delighted. He's delighted, and I think the rest of the team will be really pleased to have him back and welcome him back into the fold as well.
He's a different type of option for you. How important is it to kind of have that variation amongst the attacking players to change things if necessary?
Well, you want everybody fit because that's what your squad's for. If people are missing from that, some of those components missing, then you've not got that. You still haven't got that balance, and that sometimes makes things difficult. But again, it's part of the game. You know, you lose players from time to time because of the frequency and intensity of the games and in training, and you know, try and manage that the best you can as a coach, as a manager, as a medical team, and you know, those are conversations that continually happen. But it's easier said than done. The practicalities are that, you know, you're going to either get impact injuries, you're going to get muscular injuries, or joint problems, or you know, they're all there at this time of year. You get illnesses as well, so you've got to factor everything in. You know, you're going to be without players from time to time. You've got to make sure that you can cope with that, which is why it's important everybody's ready to go.